I'm going to be very transparent today. I hope that we can handle it. Because one of the things that I have experienced in ministry is that we only see the good side of people. Nobody want to testify where the Lord has brought them from. Hence, we think that when you see a man flourishing in the things of God or functioning in the kingdom, you think that he's just all good. Well, how many of us know that we had to go through a process to get where we are? How many of us know that it was many sleepless nights and it was many tears and grandmama pray and mama pray while you're standing on the solid rock today to declare, thus said the Lord? Do we share these things in church? That it's not always good for us, but it was just the mercies of God that brought us where we are. As a young man that grew up in what we'd call the inner city or the garrison, do you know that in my times as a young man, all I see was man got shot and killed, man dropped stone into man's head, killed them, man used knife, stabbed man and killed them. I see those things. Where I came from, they say nobody good would come out of where I'm from. I came from a place where every man was for himself. I know it sounds foreign, but I'm telling you, I'm going to be very transparent because I need to speak to men today. Many times we feel like because we have been through some stuff, we can't get any better. That is a lie from the pit of hell. Many times because of our experiences, we think we can get to where God has called us to be. That is a lie from the pit of hell, because God has called us to greater. He has called us to be stronger and He's called us to be wiser. All we need to do is to submit ourselves as men and lose the ego and lose the titles and lose the color and begin to seek God's face. I want to talk to some men today. I get sick when I go into certain ministries because all I'm seeing is separation. The bishops here and the pastors here and the evangelist over here and the missionary here, and everybody is going to hell because people are not reaching after God. People are reaching after titles and positions. And who can dress the best and who can dress the worst? Let me tell you something, it has nothing to do with how you dress. It's the heart that you have for God. When are we going to get real in the ministry, the things of God? I want to challenge some men today to get up from where you are and begin to function. Oh, God has called us. I don't have to do it like you. I don't have to say it the way you say it. I don't have to dress the way you dress. But when I have the mind of God and I function like how God wants me to function, I think like how He wants me to think, then you can see the real man coming up. But many of us are living a lie. And I'm telling you, we need to stop. Because we're living a lie, our children are suffering. Our wives are not happy because we come and make everything look like it's good. And it's not really good. But because we have a persona and we have a status that we carry with ourselves, people look at us one way. But my God, if they see what's happening behind the scene. I want to step on some toes today because I'm telling you, these are what men need to hear in this time. We can't preach sweet message. Many of us are struggling as womanizers, but we have a wife. We're struggling with pornography and we have a wife. We're struggling with gambling and with alcoholism. But we come into church and we look good and we smell good and we are crazy in our thinking. Then we want to impart unto people and impart. No wonder our church can't grow. And our men can't get better, and our boys are stunted. They can't grow anymore. Why? Because we're imparting to them things that is not elevating them, it's taking them lower. When we call a conference like this where we want to just talk to men, the amount of phone calls I have to make to get men in this building. And men will give you every excuse because the plans of the enemy is to kill the man from beginning. The plan of the enemy is to not let men be educated. That's why our women are more educated than us. The plans of the enemy is for our men not to fulfill the purposes of God in our life. That's why we're stunted and we can't grow. And when we're looking for men in church, we can't find them. You have 35 men in a church, and when you call for a men's meeting, only 2 men show up. But yes, we are in church. And some of us, I'm telling you, we are playing, and we need to wake up because God is watching us. No wonder everything that we put our hands to, it can't grow. And God is calling on us today. I'm so encouraged this afternoon, to see what we have gathered here. This is a big encouragement. Should give ourselves a round of applause. Every man that is in this building, give ourselves a round of applause. Now, at what point do we look at ourselves in the mirror? I know that all of us have struggles. I play that song strategically because the song was sung by Michael Jackson, a great pop star who had a lot of issues. He had a lot of issues. Couldn't see himself, but he's singing, I'm looking at a man in the mirror. How many of us are preaching what we are not living? This song was written by a great man in that time named R. Kelly. I'm hoping that R. Kelly can rehearse that song to himself. Say, I'm looking at the man in the mirror. And he's asking himself or God to help him to change his way. Those men penned those songs, but they had issues. I'm talking to you out of my soul because I don't need scriptures to talk. I want to talk to men. And these are the type of men that are pouring into our generation. That song was sung when I was a boy, and up until today, it's a great song. Perverted people pouring into our people. People that need help themselves are pouring into us. At what point in time now we take responsibility and look at ourselves in the mirror and said, I need to make a change. Because I'm telling you, I have learned over the years that until you get well, you can never help people. Sick people don't help people. People that have issues don't know how to help other people. So at what point in time now we as men pull up our pants and pull up our socks and said, I'm going to seek the help I need because my children can't suffer anymore. My wife can't suffer anymore. My church can't suffer anymore. And the generation to come cannot suffer anymore. Men, what are we doing? In a meeting like this, we didn't come to hear songs and sing and go home and be good. But I want to challenge you that when you leave here today, you're uncomfortable. You're uncomfortable to the fact that you need to do something. Pastor talk about that introspective look. That's what I'm talking about. I want to challenge you to the fact that when you look in the mirror, you don't just see. When I look in the mirror, I don't want to just see me. But I want to see purpose. I want to see passion. I want to see love. I want to see how I'm going to, what do I need to do to myself so my son can be better, so my daughters can be better, so ministry can be better. What do I need to change in my life? Some of us, the things that we struggle with, it's so hard to let go. I was a man that loved to gamble. Love it. I used to gamble and come minister to people in ministry. I know I'm going to shock a few of you today. But the truth shall set you free. And many of us, if we begin to speak truth, people's life will be different. Because probably there's somebody in here today that is struggling even with gambling, and you can change your ways today. Love God. Love Him. But I was hooked. I was fighting. I've got in the right hand and my bad habit in the left hand. Look in a man's life, there's two things about us, either good or evil. What do we feed the most? What do we feed the most? Many of us talk about we have God and we have the world. But what do we feed the most? What you give your attention to the most, that is what will grow. Whatever you feed the most will grow. And we need to look in our life today and see where are we, what are we feeding the most? Where does our attention lies? What are we giving all of our energy and our strength to? Many of us have responsibility in ministry. And we will find every excuse in the world not to fulfill that. Ministry should become a part of our life. When we do things for God, it should become, nothing come before God. Can I tell you that nothing come before God? So anything I do, it is structured around God. And I don't fight down people, because I remember the days when basketball was before God. I was in church, my bishop would be looking for me to serve the communion, but I was home watching the Knickerbocker, because I prefer the Knicks than to serve in church. I was immature. I was stupid. But then I began to grow. Isn't it amazing? Or when we have our kids, we will try to give them our experiences so they doesn't fall in the same trap that we fall. Can I tell you, I didn't have that when I was growing up. I had to make my mistake and learn from them. I had to make my mistake and learn from them. I fall down and I had to get up. As a young man, I didn't know how to love. I didn't know what love is. When I was 43 years old, my mama told me she loved me. For the very first time I heard it, I dropped the phone and I cried like a baby. The first time I heard my mother said, "I love you." And I didn't think she hated me, but I think she didn't know how to show the love and give me the love. But yet still I was married to a woman that I needed to show love to. How do I show what I don't know? How do I give what I don't have? Are we teaching our young boys, men? Minister Perry spoke about it. Are we teaching our young boys as they grow up about marriage and about women and about love? Fathers, when was the last time we hug our son and kiss them and say, "I love you"? I've never received that from my father. But yet still I was trusting to society with a family. And I got to figure it out. I got to figure out how I get to the next level. Oh, I love. Thank God for His love. Thank God, oh, for His love, because through His love, I've learned how to love. Through His love, I've learned how to love. Amen. And I can tell you today that I am in love with Christ first, and then I got a beautiful wife that I love so much. Gentlemen, let me tell you, love can be taught. You can practice how to love. The Bible says life and death is in the power of the tongue. And if we speak well to our wife, I never hang up the phone with my wife without saying, honey, I love you. Me and my wife been going together. We went to high school together. We know each other over 35 years. And even up until today, we talk 2-3 times on the phone every single day. Because I'm still learning how to love. If you feed it, it will grow. There are many of us that are in marriage. If we feed it, it will grow. If we spend time speaking into our wife and let her know how we feel, don't talk about she will know. No, you have to speak. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. Let she know that she's beautiful. Let she know that she's lovely. Let she know that that dress is awesome. Speak it. Speak it. Challenging us, man. Many of us are taking our women for granted. Because we're with them for 10 years and 15 years, we think all is well. No, that's why they get up and leave after 20, because you have not been feeding it. Some of them just wait around until the kids grow up and they just leave you and go on about their business. Why? Because you have not been feeding it. And today, I want you to look at yourself in the mirror. Stop taking life for granted, man. Stop thinking that everything is going to come together by sitting by and just singing Mr. Lullaby. We have to work. We have to do something. One of the things about us as men, we're so macho. Everything on the man. When was the last time you cried? They say tears are a language that the Lord understands. When was the last time you cried? How many of us know that crying is a therapy? That you can cry things out. It's okay to cry. It doesn't make you less than a man. It doesn't make you less than a person. Some of us really need to bawl. Bawl out. I was told of a story that a young boy was drowning. And all his friends were there and he's in the water drowning and he's saying, assistant, please. Assistant, if you're drowning, are you going to cry, assistant, please? If you're drowning, you got to cry for help. Some of us are drowning in this audience. Assistant, please. Some of us are hurting and we are on assistant, please. Nobody's hearing us because we're the men. We are the man. I can't break in front of you. I can't cry in front of you. I can't look less than in front of you. But you're dying on the inside. Yeah, many of us, sometimes we just feel like giving up. Because life was beating us up so much. Life was wearing us down to the point sometimes we just want to throw in the towel. I believe people even in this room have contemplated suicide. Because of what life has done to us. But we're still crying, assistant, please. Assistant, please. Men, we have to cry out for help. Because if we don't cry out for help, it's not coming. But when we say, help, somebody will hear and will come to our rescue. We can't afford to let this moment pass by. We can't afford to come. This is not just another meeting, but this is a meeting that we need to make a decision, that we need to make a change. There's a man in the Bible by the name of David. I know we use him as a lot of example, but I really want to use him today. David had a child with Bathsheba. The Bible said David loved this child. Loved him. Even though that child was birthed out of a bad situation, David loved the child. Loved him so much that David began to pray for the child that he would live. Even though he was sick unto death. And there are many of us that have some stuff that is sickening unto death. It's killing us, but we're not letting go. We're not letting go. Not only that, but we will call people to help to pray for the mess that we're in. Help me to pray myself through this mess. Even though you know it's not right for you, God have already shown you that it's not right for you, but you're still holding on. Why? Because the easiest thing to do is the wrong thing, and the hardest thing to do is to do the right thing. In this room, there are men that are holding on to stuff that is killing us. You know and God knows that you need to release it. The Bible said David prayed and he asked his people to pray and the child died. And David perceived that the child was died based on his servants that were praying. Book of 2 Samuel 12 and verse 20. The Bible said when the child died, David washed himself, he anointed himself, changed his apparel, and he went into the sanctuary and began to pray. And out of that, Psalm 51 was birthed. I want to share that with you. Psalm 51. I don't know about you today, but I am so encouraged by what I see here today. And David began to pen these words. These are some of the words that we should be speaking to the Lord today. Have mercy upon me, O God, according to thy loving kindness, according unto the multitude of thy tender mercy, blot out my transgression. Men, today we want to ask the Lord to wash us thoroughly from your iniquities. Cleanse me from our sins. For I acknowledge my transgression and my sin is ever before me. Against thee, in thee only, have I sinned. Many times we need to understand that when we mess up, we can go to God. Because of a fact, a relationship is not between us and anyone, but it's between us and God. Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. Verse 7 says, purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. You will need to say, Lord, make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones which thou hast broken may rejoice. Some of us have been wounded for a very long time. Hide thy face from my sin, blot out all my iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, and renew a right spirit within me. And for those of us that feel that God has forgotten us because of what we did, they say, cast me not away from thy presence, O Lord. Take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Sometimes we have done so wrong, we think that we can't make it anymore. But David said, restore unto me the joy of my salvation. This morning, this afternoon, our prayers should be, restore unto us. Restore unto us, O God, the joy of our salvation. Because surely of a fact, many of us have lost the joy of our salvation. Jump to your feet with me this morning, this afternoon. I want to reflect on Oliver Goldsmith. He's an Irish essayist, poet, novelist, dramatist who lived in England in the 18th century. This is what he says. People seldom improve when they have no other model but themselves to copy. Let me say that again. People seldomly improve when they have no other model but themselves to copy. That is the reason why fathering is important. It doesn't matter who you are, you need to have a father. You need to identify your father and begin to function under him. Accountability to us as men is key. Who are you accountable to today? Who do you go to when things ain't going so right? Do you sit in a corner and suffer in pain and become bitter and angry and mad at the world when you can find a father or find an accountability person and submit yourself to? That's a great quotation I just read, because those are the type of words that challenge me as a man to become better. Those are the type of words that challenge me as a man to seek the help that I need. Those are the words that I read that allow me to submit myself to leadership and to mentorship and to fatherhood, because if I don't do that, I can't help myself. Those are the type of words that push me to educate myself in areas where I need to be educated so I can function and pursue my purpose and my passion. Those are the type of words that I listen to, that I seek help to become a better husband, a better father, a better man, a pastor that people can look up to, and I can be a great example. Those are the words that allow me to position myself in a way where I can be helpful to others. In my opinion, until a man value his reputation and his integrity, he will never go through the process it takes to become a better man. Let me say that again. Until a man value his reputation and his integrity, he will never go through the process it takes to becoming a better man. Don't get me wrong. We all do crazy stuff as men. Regardless of what at stake, but a mature man will learn from his mistake. A mature man will take the mistakes and turn it around and make himself better. Man, are we growing? Or we just come and listen to a good sermon and make no application? In order to build anything substantial, man, it must be rooted in trust and honesty. The problem is most men aren't involved in building anything. Whether because we didn't learn how to do it, we didn't spend the time to learn how to do it. Hence, we have no legacy. We have nothing to leave. But when you want to lead and establish something you can pass down through generation, you can't afford to have people attacking you, attacking your character. You can't afford to put yourself on social media with all type of distracting foolishness. You can't afford to have people dragging you through the mud because of things that you have done. As I said before, we all have been there. But what do we do? You can't afford to have side chicks, ladies that you used to do, messing around in your life even up until today. There's some stuff that we need to close the door on. There's some stuff that we need to close the door on, lock it and throw the key away, because you don't want those doors to be open anymore. Today, may I ask you, is your word your bond? As a man, do you do what you say you're going to do? Or you just say things and babble after the mouth because you have a mouth? Or when you speak, your word carry weight because what you say you're going to do, you do. Are you the type of man just make empty promises? If you're dealing with a man, the most valuable thing to him should be his reputation. If you're dealing with a man who isn't passionate about doing what's right and protecting his bond, his brand, then don't be surprised that he constantly cheats on you and tell you lies and give you stories, give you excuses. But when a man values his reputation, when a man values what he says, then he thinks differently and he acts differently. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. But is that greater being seen or been showing? Are we working on the greater that is in us, or are we just working on the surface? We need to look within and pay attention to our talents, to our giftings. We need to look at our temperament. we need to look at our behaviors. And then want to ask the Lord to change us. Men, can you look in the mirror and see what needs to be changed? Men, can you take an introspective look at your life and realize that all have sinned and come short of the glory of God? The righteous man falleth 70 times 7, but staying down there is not doing you any good. But you have to get back up again, brush yourself off, and begin to run. Because God is counting on you. For many of us as leaders, people are counting on us. For all the husbands in here, your wife is counting on you. For all the fathers in here, your children are counting on you. What is the state of your reputation and your character? Do you choose to be better? Or you continue to be mediocre? Do you choose to be wiser? Or you continue being the fool that you are? Every hand's raised this afternoon. Can you sing the song, I need thee, oh I need thee, every hour? I need thee. Every hand's raised in this building.
I need thee, oh, I need thee.
Hallelujah.
Every hour I need thee. Oh, bless me now, my Savior. I come to thee.
Hold up, Holy Spirit, let's tell him for yourself, I need thee.
I need thee, oh.
Come on, let's tell him
I
that you need him
thee.
today. The change is going to come with him.
Every hour I need thee.
Oh, bless me now.
Oh, bless thee now, my Savior.
Yes.
I come to thee.
All the Holy Spirit, let's sing, I need thee, I need thee.
I need
Work in this place, oh God. Yes, yes, Lord. Yalla, ma, 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 ma.
Every hour I need thee. Oh, bless me now, my Savior.
I need thee, oh God. Yalla, ma, 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 ma. Yes, God. Every hour. I need thee. Oh, bless my Savior. Gentlemen, I told you this morning that it's a safe place. If you're here today and you need us to pray with you, I'm going to ask you to step out of your seat. We all need each other. We need each other, but we need Jesus more. If you want me to pray, anoint you and pray, I'm going to ask you to step out of your seat. I would love to pray with you. I need thee.
I need thee.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
My soul